Chief is not going to be getting that pick. Or, sorry. I am so bad with names. Bird King 69. Not going to be getting the shot.
Yeah, we're making sure we're on the right side here. Yeah, Shadowblade Slash, never seen the Shen. Elventus decided we're not going to blue side first pick it. Similar bans, though, from game 1 for Shadowblade. They take away Varus, again, super strong in the bot lane. The Nautilus, the Bard, a ton of bot lane bans, as you saw in game 1. Just so much priority. And here comes the Tristana pick, which was picked first on the blue side as well in game 1. This time, Elventus say, we're going to take this powerful flex 80 carry mid laner, and we're going to show you what we can do with it.
Yeah, they're going to do a takeaway. The only band that Amber doesn't have that's going to be substituting, obviously, the Malzahar is going to be the Thresh. So it's going to be interesting to see if Shadowblade Slash want to run the Thresh pick for the side of Metapod, or they're just going to want to keep that same Braum pickup. They are going to actually take away now. It feels like we're just doing a little bit of a swap where the Kaisa Leona is going to be taken for the side of Metapod and for the side of Cornbread. So I'm excited to see kind of the mix-up. I think it would be great to do a salty run back, but instead you just take the enemy team's comp, Nemesis draft almost. You just take the enemy team's comp and see if you can beat them with that one. But the Rel is going to be taken away. It is an incredibly strong support. I'm excited to see it played a lot more. I think it does have a little bit of a high skill cap. There have been champions like the Rakan that have been kind of prevalent in the meta before, where she kind of just jumps in, gets a big magnet storm, and really attracts people. And there have been some players that have been able to kind of pilot that. I know that the JDK bot lane for the side of Divine Ascension Obsidian has been able to pilot. I believe the CV Rush bot lane as well. So I'm excited to see that Rel pickup, and it's going to be supplemented with the Orianna. So they're going to go for the Magnet Storm, Orianna Shockwave, big team fight, big boom.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much wombo right now. So I think they kind of took what I said to heart, and they're listening, and they said, okay, fundamentals, basics, what do we do? This is mid league. Give us a wombo combo. You have the salty run back from Shadowblade Slash right now. If they pull off the same 5 and they come back and they win game 2, how embarrassing would that be towards Elventus Amber? I feel like this is such a BM move, a BM win if Shadowblade Slash can pull it off. I'm super eager to see those last 2 picks. Give me the Volibear, give me the Wukong in their appropriate positions, no less. We'll see what they'll pick up here at the end. And man, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see the Tryndamere. I want to see the Tryndamere Gungeon. It's taken away. This is going to happen.
The salty run back. Please run it back, Shadowblade Slash. This should be the ultimate kind of BM nail in the coffin right there. I'm excited to see what Elventus Amber are going to kind of finish it off. Again, you can't expect the Volibear to be the jungler, so you don't have an idea of what their top laner picks. Again, Shadowblade Slash is going to ban out that Tryndamere, going to ban out the Aatrox, the same bans that we saw in game number 1. I would like it if Chief wants it, where he can take a pick away like... Again, it's not like Tryndamere is being banned in the first round, and it's not like Rel is really going to be focused in second round because it's not that high a priority of a pick. So it feels like it could be a pick that could just be taken in first round if you really want it, but they are just going to take away the set here. A pretty standard top laner that can kind of suplex these tanks into the middle of the enemy team and hope that this... I mean, they're building the wombo combo here, and I'm excited to see what their jungler is going to be. We're going
my. I love this Fiddlesticks pick. Here we go. The Scarecrow comes out. I actually hate this champion. It's my permaban in solo queue. I cannot stand playing against it. In competitive, a little bit easier to digest, right? Because you have the benefit of communication. You can discuss with your teammates, and they're not just, chickens without heads running around, not respecting a Fiddlebolt coming out from the brush, 2 screens away. And it's going to be Jin Zhao locked in, so they'll run him back with their jungler from last game, but they're going to keep the same 4 picks that Elventus ran, this time putting Volibear. No, they'll keep Volibear in the top lane, so we'll see the Volibear again, man. Only Wukong jungle switched up for Jin Zhao on the side of Shadowblade Slash. I love it.
Yeah, Shadowblade Slash did the salty run back with their little twist, a little bit of spice with that Xin Zhao. Again, it was a champion that had so much effect in the early game. It felt like, again, Meteor was just able to kind of take over and get good ganks in the bot lane with that early 3v3 that happened. Good ganks in the mid lane by punishing the Victor after the Malzahar was able to get the the Malzahar ulti on top of him. So I'm excited to see what Shadowblade Slash is going to do with basically Elventus's comp from last game. For the side of Elventus, though, I think this wombo comp is super exciting. I like the Fiddlesticks. Again, he's super annoying, and I understand why junglers don't like playing against him, just because the amount of vision control that this champion offers with those scarecrows is really hefty. And so there's the fear that any bush you walk into, anything that's blinded, you're not only going to be scared of the Fiddlesticks coming on top of you, there's a Rel, an Orianna, and a Tristana that will pretty much instantly jump you and try to kill you. So for the side of Shadowblade Slash, it's going to be about early control and maintaining that vision control. And so I'm excited to see what Metapods does, because I think he had a great game to 1. He kind of did what his job was, which was just appeal, play for his team. But now that he's on this Leona pick, he needs to be the aggressor trying to make those big plays.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me, we have the compositions completed. Shadowblade Slash definitely were the team that looked a little bit more polished in team fights, decision-making, discipline. But Elventus did not just roll over. It was nearly a 40-minute game. 6 drakes were taken off the board. A ton of back and forth, especially early. We have the full 5v5 now. How do you like Elventus's chances of evening up the series here going into game 2?
I like their chances in terms of if we could just give all of these players 3 items and they could just go into a kind of like a Thunderdome kind of area and you just fight together, I would like Elventus' chances. My fear is that their solo laners do end up struggling sometimes in the early game. Like we have seen the solo kill happen for the side of Shadowblade Slash in that top lane when it was no, actually I think it was opposite. I believe Chief solo killed the Malphite. But regardless of that point, I have seen where Elventus' solo laners do struggle, and especially in this jungle matchup with the Fiddle versus the Xin Zhao, they need to make sure that they get this Fiddle to level 6. They need to make sure that his entrances are covered. They need to make sure that they're constantly rotating to make sure he doesn't get punished. Because if there's ever a time where you can punish a jungler, it's having the Xin Zhao with Meteor and then having Metapods on this Leona just kind of detach and hunt the Fiddlesticks, whatever camp he goes. So I get scared just because the solo laners sometimes do struggle in the early game. And if they struggle, that means that their jungler will fall so far behind, he will be pretty much a non-factor. And that big Crow Storm that you're imagining is just going to be a little bit of a flyover.
Yeah, it does take a while to get to that strong ultimate as well. Hopefully he'll be able to utilize that with some items backing him up. He's not too far behind by that point. In game 1, we saw Meteor Toast affect both top and mid lanes early. He was able to pick up first blood for his team. So we like to play a little game in Light League. Hickory actually had this, bless his heart, he's gone from Light League now. But tell me, who is going to get first blood? Who are you going to put your money on in game 2?
Who's going to get first blood?
Yeah, where's it going to be? What lane and what champs are involved?
This is going to be a spicy choice, but I believe that Chief will get first blooded by Bird King. Ooh. I don't know why I believe that. I have no backing on that. This is a complete gut call. This is the sense is telling me, as a washed up AD carry main, sometimes the voices talk to me. 80 carries of worlds past. Doublelift sometimes speaks to me about his worlds runs, and he tells me these things. And so I see in my future Bird King solo killing set in the top lane. I don't know why it will happen. I don't know when it will happen, but it will happen as the first play.
Okay, I'm excited to watch that top lane. I got one more question before we toss it back to Cam and Icarus to take us through the rift. Gungeon, I know, your partner Mac, he's off on the beach right now enjoying life. Could he do something for you? Could he get you a new headset? What's going on there? You got duct tape. Here we go.
Hey, the story behind this headset, it's been with me for so long. It's actually a really nice headset. It's like a nice noise canceling headset. I love it, but it fell apart. There was like a time where I used to be super into like meditative music whenever I'd go to sleep. Okay. And I just woke up and I rolled onto the side of it and it just kind of crushed in on itself.
Oh no.
And I'm not replacing a $300 headset. So I was like, you know what? We're doing the 5-cent fix, and I just taped everything up. Hopefully Mac can get me. Mac is out there chilling in the Bahamas, chilling in Norway, wherever he is right now on the beaches, but hopefully he can bring me back up. Yeah. Bring me back a present of a headset. I miss you, Mac, but we'll Don't worry, he'll be back next week to participate in our Jeopardy pre-show where I'll be
That's
smoking
right.
him. So don't worry.
Oh, some trash talk coming out. All right, guys. We'll toss it back. We're going to take a little bit of a break. You guys will see Icarus and Camcom taking us through game 2. Don't go anywhere.
We're back, gamers and flamers, hopping into the second game of the series here between Elventus, Amber, Esports Elite versus the likes of Shadowblade Slash here, switching sides this time around, and also switching team compositions here. Shadowblade Slash deciding anything you can do, we can do better. Hold on, do we have a level 1 fight here?
No, we're just gonna have a level 1 dance party, actually.
Oh, I love it. Fiddlesticks isn't coming though. He has the best dance though. Is he at least running he's not even running party Fiddlesticks. That makes me sad. Have you seen surprise party Fiddlesticks dance? It's the most obnoxious thing ever.
Of course. Who hasn't seen that dance?
It is the best dance ever. You just get the going off the entire time. I love it. I enjoy it so much. But with that, we are going to be hopping into this into the second game here of this series. The Jin Zhao really being the only carryover pick that from Shadowblade Slash's original picks of the first series here, instead opting to pick up the other 4 picks that was ran by Elventus Gaming. Typical starts once again here, but I do want to point off that instead of both going for red buff, then both teams will be starting on their blue buff here, and NIL will actually be starting on his Wolves of all camps.
Yeah, that's usually a Claire that you saw on the season 9 or season 10 Fiddlesticks before his rework, where he was starting on the enemy. Wolves we're actually going to see a level 1 already trade in the spot lane here. Kaisa forcing her flash as well as Metapod's flash. Better Chemicals using his ignite just to get their flashes out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that both of them use their flash right away, taking the risky path to lane there also for the bottom lane of Shadowblade Slash means they're going to be missing out on those summoners, and with NIL already pathing down towards the bottom side since he started top, this is a fantastic opener for Elventus Gaming, and it's going to be so much harder for Cornbread and Metapods to look for any kind of aggressive play here. And if we're looking at this bot lane combination after what we saw last game,
oh, yes, the same bot lane combination that we saw last game, where Balthazar absolutely destroys Almost Tristana, already getting out Cornbread's both summoner spells. But NIL having a little bit of an invade in the bottom river here, as he's already caught out trying to steal this red buff away from NIL, forced to flash away as Void River is here, trying to save his life, and he's just going to be able to auto him down. But Metapods is walking up river with his ADC there and just going to be able to walk it out there.
what is happening in the early stages of the game here for Shadowblade Slash? They've lost 3 flashes already. The only one that's been given up by Elventus has been the flash from Balthazar, but now Meteor Toast doesn't have a flash either, which means you get this entire time NIL gets to just go around, farm his camps for free here. He even gets to pick up his own Raptors and do the double red Raptors leash. So early game looking so good for Elventus here. The only downside is that Fiddlesticks isn't that great of an early game ganker, so NIL isn't going to be looking to really capitalize upon these missing flashes until after he's hit level 6, which is a bit unfortunate for Ember or for Elventus, but it still means that they get priority in almost every single lane due to just the summoner spell difference.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this basically same exact matchup as we did last game, where, I mean, Tristana is super good into Kaisa. She just outranges her, outdamages her, outscales her, out everything her, and I mean, you already got both of Kaisa's flashes early on, and that's just going to be NIL taking about half his HP bar there for the bot scuttle, as Meteor Toast takes the top scuttle away from him as well.
Scuttle Crabs, we're not going to get the MSI special of watching the Scuttle Crabs get fought over too hard just quite yet. We did see it in the last game, but so far, with all these flashes down, no team really wants to try and make aggressive plays, especially not Shadowblade Slash. They don't want to try and play aggressively just quite yet, as we do have another engage coming in from the bottom lane.
Yes, Better Chemicals did already flash onto Cornbread there, and that's just going to be a poke trade. Unfortunate for Better Chemicals, as he did burn his real flash there, not the Hex flash for that trade.
I'm not sure if Balthazar just didn't have the rocket jump available, or if he wasn't ready to commit to that fight, because it seems just a little miscoordinated here. Another trade going through here, but Metapods is able to walk away. But it just felt like Balthazar and Better Chemicals weren't on the same wavelength there. They weren't able to make that engage happen, and Better Chemicals blows the flash for free, so he's going to be a little offset from his AD carry when it comes to that flash cooldown timer.
Yeah, both of them don't have their flash, but obviously Better Chemicals does have access to that Hex flash that Metapods actually didn't take on Leona there, so he is technically the only person in this bot lane with a flash, even if it is technically like a half flash.
Difficult for any lane to go for something aggressive without these summoner spells. The only lane, though, that does have all their summoner spells still available, or at least their flashes, are going to be the top and mid lane, actually. Teleport has been used by both solo laners from the side of Elventus. Meanwhile, Bird King will be holding on to his teleport for now. So that tells us that if there's a bot play to be made here, it's going to be Shadowblade Slash that has the man advantage, if they're able to find a way for Bird King to try and teleport towards the bottom side. So far, not a whole lot of action. In comparison to last game where we saw so much fighting happening, this game around much slower, but as I say that,
Better Chemicals yet again trying to find any trade that he's able to on this bot lane. Balthazar finally jumping in, finding the first blood onto Cornbread, and he's just able to jump right back out as Metapods is not able to find the comeback kill.
That's where we see the rocket jump being held onto by Balthazar, coming in huge for him. Even though he gets stunned up, he can still use, or once the speed boost comes in from Cornbread, he's able to use that rocket jump to follow up, make sure that he stays within auto attack range. You don't always have to commit right away. As we see him, he's going to get jumped on a little bit, but not going to be much. Rocket jump to safety with the full explosive charge will mean that he's able to not quite pick up the turret plating, but will secure an early dragon for the side of Elventus here. NIL able to survive, or able to sustain through that early pickup. And he's just going to go back to farming his jungle camps and look for a reset real quick.
Yeah, with this early lane pressure that Balthazar is able to find in the Tristana Kaisa matchup, they were able to secure just a little bit of a sneaky dragon as NIL was soloing it on this Fiddlesticks. So, I mean, Fiddlesticks has so much healing on his own. He's able to solo dragons pretty easily on his own early on in this game.
Something that's even more important than getting the dragon, even more important than finding the first blood, is the level difference that happens in the bot lane once we see that wave get shoved in from Balthazar as well. Fortunately for Cornbread, he's able to get the return shove on the next wave because Balthazar waited so long to get his reset timer here. Typically, early stages of the game, you actually don't want to try and pressure for the plating unless it's already been whittled down just a little bit, because it means that you lose out on the next wave that it comes in once Cornbread comes back to lane, because those death timers are just so short. So we do see that it is one wave for another. Balthazar will still have a 10 CS lead for himself, and already we are seeing a little bit of CS differential kind of across the board here. NIL also has a 10 CS differential for himself. He's just been hard clearing all of his jungle camps, finally hitting level 6, so he will have the level advantage on top of Meteor Toast as well. And this is where we're finally going to start seeing NIL looking for these ganks now that he has access to that Crow Storm. Flashes will be available on the bottom side once again, but that ultimate available for the side of Elventus will mean we can start seeing some jungle plays coming in.
Yeah, as you were saying, Elventus is up around 1.5k at the moment, so they are looking to maybe secure a few more plays just to make their gold lead a little bit bigger, and hopefully finding some jungle ganks on the Fiddlesticks, who is now level 6 with the Crow Storm available, so he can look for some of those cheesy plays, as it does look like Meteor is sitting in this bot lane trying to find something here, and Better Chemicals is going to engage for him already. This is going to be the TP coming down from Bird King. Metapods trying to get out, but he's actually going to flash forward towards his own tower. That's a really nice ult from Balthazar, having to force his flash and his ult out just to try and live, and he is going to be able to make it out there. That is a 0-kill fight for so many subs burned.
Phenomenally played there from the bottom lane of Elventus, getting themselves out to safety after they committed their initial kit to going forward onto Metapods here. Ooh, might see NIL get picked off here, though. He is getting engaged upon by 2 members.
Oh, that is going to be NIL splash, and he's going to try and ult back, trying to do any damage that he can. But Meteor Toast is fairly tanky on this Sins out here, but Balthazar is going to jump in, try and find as much damage as he can, and NIL is able to pick up that kill. But Meteor Toast is able to pick up the kill back onto Balthazar.
A little bit of an overaggression there from Balthazar going into the melee range Tristana. It's always got to be that special rocket jump for the 1-for-1. Now it is, I'm going to be looking at Cornbread. Does he opt to shove this wave out? I'm surprised that he actually hasn't been pushing the minion wave into the turret here, because he would be able to deny away some of the CS. Instead, he's trying to let it slow push back out into himself here. Meanwhile, NIL takes this opportunity to go into the river and pick up that top scuttle crab. So still not a whole lot of a gold difference being made at the end of the day from that play, but it is still going to be just a slight increase to the gold diff here. And now we can start seeing NIL looking for more aggressive plays, this time around the top.
Oh my, that's going to be the flash forward with the ult coming out from Chief, trying to find a kill onto Bird King, but unfortunately he flipped Bird King away from his own jungler. But Better Chemicals is here, able to find that CC on the Bird King, and that's going to be the kill going over to Chief, and NIL just there for a little bit of a moral support there.
Better Chemicals with the better roams this game around. Metapods is not going to be looking towards that top side of the map where Rel was, so it will be a kill picked up on the top side of the map, which means that NIL should be able to secure this Rift Herald unless Meteor Toast has something to say about it, but I highly doubt that he'll do anything to stop the neutral objective from going down here. We might see Void Rifter try and make his way towards that mid lane. Ping coming out tells us it will be true. We'll see if they pick up this neutral objective or not. In the meantime, though, I want to take a look at the ward coverage across the map. Look at this bottom side river and just how many pink wards are around that middle lane for Shadow Blade Slash. They do not want to let Void Rifter go down to any kind of gank coming in from NIL.
Yeah, I mean, Better Chemicals so far has been out roaming Metapod, but that could change later on as Leona is going to scale a little bit harder than Rel will later on, but Better Chemicals is going to have the better team fight ultimate later. So we'll see how this vision is actually going to impact this dragon coming up here. It is going to be a cloud, so it is going to be a different soul than we saw last game as it was that first dragon Ocean.
It will be a different one. I personally think that Infernal and Mountain are two of my favorite souls to fight over, especially Infernal. So this should be a fairly exciting game for us here. I do want to see this game go just as scrappy as we saw the last one, because these two teams are so close in how they play the game and in terms of competition as well. That last game, such an exciting game to watch. It was so close between the two teams, but we do have the dragon that has spawned on the map, and already both teams are starting to rotate down towards this river. I think we might see a team fight starting to break out here any second now.
Ape is the only one that is not here, as he is sitting in that top lane holding his TP, but the engage has already dropped as the Herald is thrown onto the bot river. Better Chemicals so far is still alive, but he's going to go back in with that Magnet Storm as well as the Crow Storm following up. Void Rifter already finding the first kill of the game, but that's going to be the double kill going over to the Victor. So much damage coming out, but Cheat has finally TP'd. He is here on the set doing so much damage. Malazar going in as well. Rocket jump in, rocket jump out, finds the kill on the Void Rifter. This is going to be the 2 for 5 potentially going over to Elventus if they're able to find this final kill onto Bird King underneath the tower, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to, just living on that 1 HP on the Volibear.
Volibear, Bird King barely makes it out alive. There's such a close fight, but really the difference there is Balthazar stays alive and Cornbread does not. He even gets the heist of a kill. No!
Oh my gosh, Meteor Toast finds the steal of a lifetime, but he is going to give that kill over to Chief as he's not able to find the return.
My only words, unlucky. Yeah, it's just unlucky if you're the side of Elventus there, getting that one stolen away. We didn't even get the smite off. He actually got it with the lightning portion of Wind Becomes Lightning. But it is, you know, it happens sometimes. It's not the end of the world because the Windrake isn't that big of a deal here for a singular stacking dragon. And honestly, the 10% ability haste, or the ability haste that you get on the ultimates is only going to really be impactful for Leona and Kaisa, I think, here, because yes, the other ones are pretty important, but they're not as game-breaking as those two ultimates can be, in my personal opinion. But we do have the game state changing to be far more in favor of Elventus this time around. In this game, we have a healthy early gold lead, 4,000 gold in advantage for Elventus, as they're looking to try and continue to push forward their objectives, continue to push forward their advantages here, and they might be looking for some more fights around this top side.
They are looking to find this pick onto Bird King as he doesn't have any help from his team. This is going to be the flash forward from NIL, just having to trade it out with Bird King here. And it does look like he is going to be able to secure that kill, as unfortunately, Bird King's entire team is sitting in the spot side trying to steal away NIL's jungle camps.
When you see the Fiddlesticks on the top side of the map, that is your cue to go down towards the bottom side and steal away those camps. I like to see the punish coming in from Meteor Toast there. Even if he's not able to get a kill in return, he's still denying gold. He's still denying experience. Flash also blown from Chicken Crocs there. So almost making the play happen for Shadow Blade Slash when they're so far behind here. It is still that 4K gold lead. I want to take a second, though, look around the map and see what is there that Shadow Blade can be doing here.
No, Balthazar decides to jump into a 1v2 and almost gets that kill in the Cornbread, but not quite, as Metapods is able to secure that shutdown.
Can't blame him. He thought it was the 1v1. Metapods comes in, though. There's no vision for Balthazar. You really can't be making those kind of plays when you don't have the vision, you don't have teammates to back you up. But as an AD carry main myself, I understand and respect the play.
Playing with the Tristana main in ranked solo queue last night, and that is just about exactly what he he did every single time he found a lead for himself. So I'm not surprised in the slightest that he went for that kill.
That's kind of what... But that's what I want to see Elventus doing better this game that we didn't see from them last game. I want to see them going for these aggressive plays, taking their advantages and running away with it. It didn't work in that situations because it was poorly timed on Balthazar's end. Or actually, it was really well timed on the side of Shadowblade Slash to have Metapods there at the right place at the right time, really is what it was. But imagine a world where Metapods isn't there. You get the kill on the Corbred. Suddenly your Tristana is 4-2 and gets to deny away from the turret. You pick up first brick bottom side. And these kinds of plays are what we need to be seeing out of Elventus if they want to try and continue to push this game forward. Because this time around, I do think that the scaling option goes over in favor of Olan.
Oh, this is going to be a big fight in the bot lane. There's already a TP from behind onto Void Rifter, but there's already no bot lane left for Shadowblade Sash. Oh my goodness, NIL already going into this stasis here, but Void Rifter does so much damage on this Victor, already going down though to better chemicals as they are going to be able to find that tower finally, and that's going to be another kill going over to Chicken Crux on the Orianna.
Balthazar again is barely able to make it out with the heist of an escape. They're flashing so they can get closer to that top lane wall, or that top wall of the fight, jumps over it to safety to get away from Void Rifter. And now Void Rifter has blown his teleport. He's up creek without a paddle and isn't able to get himself out alive because he just gets collapsed on by the rest of Elventus. And that's where those over aggressive plays, that's where those Balthazar rocket jump forward are going to work for Elventus, and that's what I like to see. Rift Herald does get picked up, but I think Meteor dies here for it.
Meteor Toast is forced to use his flash and his ult there, but Chief says, nope, I'm going to use my flash ult as well, and that's going to be a kill going over to Chief, and that is 20 seconds before this next dragon spawns, this next infernal dragon spawns.
I guess you can say that Meteor Toast was toast after picking up that Rift Herald. But we're going to move along from that pun real quick. 10 seconds to the Rift Herald gets spawning here, and with the jungler down, this one should all be but secured from the side of Elventus. I don't even want to see Shadowblade Slash try and fight this one. Instead, what they should be doing is shoving out their waves, catching the farm, catching their CS, and just setting up some ward coverage as well, because they are falling slowly and slowly further behind here. 6,000 gold now in favor of Elventus, and they cannot be affording to give over many more kills before this game starts reaching the realm of unbringbackable.
Yeah, I mean, we already see Metapods very caught out here from the very nice ultimate from Better Chemicals, but I mean, that is the gold lead that we didn't get to see last game, as it was sitting at around a 1 or 2k gold lead for basically up until 30 minutes last game, and now we are actually getting to see Elventus going ahead there, and I mean, that's a very nice Crowstorm. NIL picking up another kill in this mid lane, but that's going to be the shutdown from Victor going over to Orianna right before she dies, and they're still trying to continue this fight just a little bit, but it does look like they're going to be able to walk it out in the mid lane there.
Last tick of the Chaos Storm going off there for Void Rifter means that he's going to be able to pick up the kill on the Chicken Crocs. But NIL this game is fighting some really spicy engages. I got to give him props for that one. He used the ultimate, understanding that he wants to commit the flash as well. Are we going to have a top 1v1 on the top side though?
Oh, this is not a 1v1, this is a 1v2, and once Chief realizes he's trying to run away as fast as he possibly can, and I think he might just be able to with the help of NIL. He's actually looking to turn it back around, but he doesn't do enough damage. That's going to be his own shutdown going over to Meteor Toast, as he is trying to find another kill onto NIL here. Bird King healing up all those fruits there, and it is going to be the double kill going over to Meteor Toast.
Great punishment there from Meteor Toast. I think it was just a little bit of an overextension, overcommitment from LX Chief. They're feeling really strong. And like, yes, I need to see them playing more aggressively. Yes, I need to see them making these plays, but not in a situation where Chief is that low and he thinks he can make the turnaround play. NIL doesn't have the ultimate available. So it just ends up being a wash. They end up giving over 2 kills to Meteor Toast. And for a 0-4 in Jin Zhao, picking up 2 kills there is absolutely the boost in gold that this early game champion needs in order to bring himself back into line with the tempo of this game. And we might start seeing some more successful team fights coming in from Shadowblade with those shutdowns being given over.
I agree, but the hard part of Xin Zhao is, there's not such a thing as being the same gold as Xin Zhao. He's either ahead or he's behind, and so far in this game, he has been behind. So unless he finds another double kill or somehow finds a triple kill, I don't think he's going to be as ahead as he needs to be doing the same damage as he was last game that we saw.
Crow Storm.
Okay. Crow Storm, that's going to be another really nice ultimate from Better Chemicals, finding so much CC, but Void Rifter is huge on this Victor, doing so much damage, as well as the Volley Barrel canceling those tower shots there, keeping his team alive. Very nice play coming out from Shadowblade Slash.
Yeah, great follow-up from Shadowblade Slash and a great punishment there. They did not have either carry available for that fight. Instead, NIL and Better Chemicals, the two-man trying to make it happen. With a teleport coming in from Bird King, though, they weren't prepared to be fighting a 2v4. They thought it was going to be a quick pick and then back away, but Balthazar was in base, and Chicken Croc's on the top side of the map. No teleport came out from the Orianna, because by the time they realized that a teleport might be needed, the fight was already over. Very unfortunate circumstances here for Elventus, and this is starting to get scary for them because Shadowblade is slowly closing that gold difference. It's gone down to a 4k gold lead once again, and 2 mid lane turrets have gone down here, so that's going to provide so much map control as well for Shadowblade Slash.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Victor last game. Void Rifter was playing the Malzahar, and I mean, he knew how to carry once he hit his 2-item power spike. And in this game, he has picked up that Dark Seal now, sitting at 5 stacks there. He's almost at his 2-item power spike once again, but this time on the Victor. So he is slowly getting there. And once he gets there, I do believe that he is going to be doing some insane damage output in these team fights that they so commonly like to take.
Team fights are important, but if you want to be taking team fights, you have to have your entire team there. Dragon is going to be spawning in 50 seconds, as you mentioned. Baron is also on the map now that we're 22 minutes, almost 23 minutes into this one. I do like to see that Shadowblade Slash is setting up early control in this bottom side river, but what they don't know is that Pink Ward in the river bush is setting up a death trap for anybody that tries to just walk through the middle lane here, and it might just be Void Rifter. Said he takes a safe way around, but there's still so many members here. Such a tense situation to see.
Oh, Meteor Toast, he's the one that face checks it, and he is immediately going to be taking his entire HP bar, but he doesn't die immediately. Balthazar is able to find the kill on the Victor, which is absolutely huge in this team fight. Chicken Croc's picking up that kill on the Meteor Toast as well. Balthazar immediately Wing in, trying to do as much damage as he can, and he is able to pick up that unofficial double kill in this team fight right before their 3rd dragon of this game.
We go. That's what we were finally looking for Elventus Amber Esports Elite. They're able to find a successful full team fight for themselves where Balthazar is available, where Chicken Crocs is there. NIL also pulling in Meteor Toast just way too far into his team with that Sonya's baiting out the Xin Zhao. They pick up the 3rd dragon for themselves and put themselves on salt point, but what's more important is it looks like they're rotating over towards this top side of the map. They might be trying to pick up a Baron for themselves. Xin Zhao still has to run his way over to this one. They're burning it down pretty quickly here. Are they gonna be able to pick this one up?
It does look like they might be able to pick it up. It is at 5k HP so far, 2k, 1k, and that is going to be the Baron secured. Elventus, that's a very free Baron, but there is a Victor on the flank, but oh my goodness, Balthazar just flashes in on him like an absolute madman. That's going to be his own shutdown going over to Meteor Toast, but Meteor Toast is now in the backline. That's going to be his own shutdown going over to NIL, who does so much damage on this Fiddlesticks. He does so much until he's taken down by Bird King, and that's just going to be the 3-4-2 going over to Elventus Esports.
Yeah, 2 for 2 at the end of the day there, but what's important is that Elventus is able to pick up some of the Baron. Yes, you cleared it off a couple of members there, Balthazar most importantly, but you still got on Chicken Crocs, Better Chemicals, and LX Chief. Importantly there is that it's still on this set with the teleport available. This is where you start setting up the 1-4-0 team fight composition for Elventus Esports. They want to set this setup in the top side of the map, continue to pressure that top lane outer turret or inner turret. Meanwhile, all 4 members, the other 4 members of Elventus can absolutely just walk down mid here, pick up that turret, that mid lane outer turret, and then start looking for more ward control in the enemy side of the jungle, because so far this ward coverage for Elventus is a little lackluster, and it's because they can't quite get their wards pushed up past this river with that mid lane turret still standing.
I agree. Once they are able to find these wards in the enemy jungler, they are slowly able to push that ward score a little bit higher as the ward line gets further and further away. So they are able to find those picks that they need to slowly secure this win that they so desperately need in this game too.
Hopefully we can see them start to gather around here. It's very tense on the bottom side of the map as both teams trying to fight over the Scuttle Crab. I'm glad to see that Shadowblade / aren't willing to throw their life away in order to pick up that Scuttle, though. We don't have any MSI flashbacks in this game just quite yet either. But Balthazar will be able to pick up that turret. Great buffer onto that rocket jump in order to get himself out to safety there. And now we can start seeing Elventus look for these deeper wards. We can see already that Better Chemicals is starting to get some ward coverage into the enemy side of the jungle. And now Set is also posturing in that bottom side. This is exactly what I want to be seeing from Elventus here. They are playing this macro game quite well here with this Baron buff.
They are finally figuring out how to macro in this game, as they did throw it a little bit, gave away a few shutdowns that they didn't necessarily need to give away to Shadowblade /, but now they are macroing pretty well in this mid game here, and they are slowly being able to close out their game with the lead. They still are sitting with a 6k gold lead.
6k gold lead, but it has not expanded much in the past 5 to 10 minutes or so here. We're starting to see them slowly peter out in strength. This Baron is also going to be clearing off of them in just a short bit here. So without Baron being on the members of Elventus and Dragon spawning in a minute 30, we see the resets coming in from both teams. They're going to get prepped up for this next Dragon fight, because this is going to be the soul point fight that could make or break the game here for Elventus. If they win the fight, they pick up the soul and the game's all but theirs for victory. If they lose this fight, though, that is another 5 minutes that has scaling options for Shadowblade / for Cornbread and Void Rifter to try and find themselves some more late game itemization.
Better Chemicals did pick up your favorite item in the game, the new warding item, but he's still sitting at level 12. So right now, it's not actually doing a whole lot for him. So if he isn't able to find that level 13 before this dragon fight in around 45 seconds, and it doesn't look like he will, as he does immediately engage Balthazar, already finding the kill onto Cornblast, NIL going golden, trying to find this kill onto Meteor Toast before he goes down. Chief in the backline in a 1v3, but not for long, as Balthazar joins him, finds that double kill. Bird King having to ult away, trying to get away as his team is already down, but he is not so lucky. That's going to be the triple kill for Balthazar, double kill for Chicken Crocs, and the clean ace for Elventus.
Right, Elventus, I called you out and I said you got to start making some aggressive plays, and you come into game 2 here with some aggressive plays. They find the full-on ace. It's even a little bit awkwardly timed here because there's still 25 seconds, now 5 seconds left on this dragon spawn, which gives time for 3 members of Elventus to go mid lane. They're going to be able to pick up a turret. They're going to be able to pick up the dragon still with NIL and Chicken Crocs still at the pit, and now they just get to back out, steal away some of these jungle camps. Everything is going oh so right for Elventus here. This Tristana pick is showing up huge as Balthazar is just continuously finding pick after pick with these rocket jump resets and dominating these team fights.
Balthazar is playing this game so incredibly well on this Tristana. He is, as you say, finding the rocket jump into jump into jump. He's just playing leapfrog on this Tristana. We didn't even realize he's got his own mini game here. He's just absolutely destroying Shadowblade / on this champion here. And I mean, he is getting to the late game here. He did pick up that LDR. He is almost on his full build here, so he isn't going to be getting much bigger. But once he is finding that last item, he's going to be doing so much damage. And I mean, look at Kaisa's build. She's on 2 items to Tristana's 4. That is a huge gold lead that she has.
Cornbread has just not been having a very good game here, and we were talking during Champion Select to say that the Kaisa Leona R1 R2 picks here, yes, it is strong, but when you give over the Tristana on B1, it just doesn't look nearly as good. You get, we're not going to talk about that. You get the advantages of all the late game of Tristana, but you also get the advantages of dealing versus a short range AD carry. So really, Tristana's early game doesn't get punished when you lock in this Kaisa Leona so early on here, when you already see the Tristana, because she does have a weak game if you're able to punish how short her range is. And instead, when you pick something that's just a short range, you let Balthazar get away with this early game absolutely for free. And now he's coming in here 9-3-8, so strong. And there is nothing that Cornbread can do about it except try and play these team fights a little bit slower and just be more defensive.
No. Oh no, Meteor Toast, that's not where you wanted to be on those chickens, man. That's going to be yet another kill going over to Balthazar as NIL decides to press ult just for fun there in the mid lane.
Look, he's just standing with his support in the fact that they don't need their ultimates, all right? We saw the Magnet Storm earlier. Now we see the Crow Storm just completely
we didn't see it.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't see it. We're not talking about it. You're absolutely correct there. Baron, though, we're going to talk about because that one absolutely free here as we get a play on the bottom side.
Chief is in a 1v4 here as the rest of his team is securing that pretty free Baron. He might be able to find a backup kill onto Chief, but is not going to be able to find that. And that's going to be the kill going over to Cornbread. But Balthazar found himself a pick on the Void Rifter.
Where'd he go? 3 auto attacks and he's dead. That's all it took from Balthazar there. That's actually just a little bit disgusting. And what's important to note is just what items have been picked up by Balthazar here in order to make that happen. Storm Razor, IE, Kraken Slayer, Lord Dominic's Regard, all just flat damage items here. There's not even a Phantom Dancer. And we can see just how much damage it does as he immediately blows up anybody that he can get on top of when he's using that explosive charge alongside the rapid fire. It's just so difficult to survive through the burst provided by Balthazar here.
And if you thought Balthazar was strong right now, wait till you see what he buys with his 2,500 gold in his pocket as he just picks up yet another kill literally from the grave onto Cornbread as he just stands there with the bomb on his head and says, well, I guess I'm just gonna die to this one.
We see Balthazar finally get shut down here, but it doesn't matter because the explosive charge does so much damage versus Cornbread. He gets killed in return here. It is 12,000 gold ahead here, and we look at the gold difference, 5,000 of that difference is in the pockets of Balthazar here. He goes back to base, not by choice, but by death here. Isn't going to be able to find any more itemization for himself, but with the 80 carries so far ahead, it opens up the avenue for the rest of Elventus Amber Esports Elite to pull ahead here as well. Across the board, itemization is just so far in favor for Elventus. You got 4.5 completed items on Chicken Crocs versus the 3 completed for Void Rifter. You got 3 in the jungle. You got 3 in the top lane. You got even 4 on your support. Just everywhere, there is more items, more gold available, and this Infernal Soul all available for Elventus. At this point, it's just a matter of wrapping up this game and moving on to the third one of the series.
Yeah, I mean, Balthazar was able to full buy Guardian Angel as he was dead. They're sitting on basically 3,000 gold. And as you can see, Void Rifter, he had a Dark Seal at one point, and now no longer has a Dark Seal anymore, as his lane opponent, Chicken Crocs, is sitting on a 22-stack Magi's absolutely huge on the Orianna. I mean, we keep talking about Balthazar crushing it on Tristana, but we forget about Chicken Crocs and NIL, who have been making it happen this entire game, sitting on those support KDAs, but still doing so much damage.
And that's really what's so scary here about the composition that Elventus drafted is they have so many sources of damage and yet are extremely tanky. That Fiddlesticks can frontline it phenomenally well for his team between the sustainability and the Zhonya's that he has. Set also plays such a strong frontline alongside this Rel, and neither one of these champions goes down very easy without returning either an immense amount of utility or an insane amount of damage if you're Chief here for all the effort that you put into trying to kill them. With everybody focusing on the top side from Shadowblade / bot side is open entirely for the picking here. Balthazar 4 auto attacks takes out that turret open in his middle and bottom half of the map.
Yeah, I mean, just to think from the very second dragon, that Cloud Dragon going over to Meteor Toast on the steel, to think if they had let that go over to the Tristana, instead of her having the 3 Infernals, I wonder if that would actually have affected how easily she is able to one-shot people. As speaking, she finds yet another kill on the Meteor Toast. That's a really nice flash forward from Chicken Crocs, but unfortunately missing that Orianna Shockwave onto the Void Rifter as he does flash away from it.
I am living for the amount of confidence that Balthazar has this game. It didn't work for him early on, but it's that kind of confidence that's making it work for him at this stage in the game, because there is nobody safe from the 4-tap of Balthazar. Meteor Toast, even through Sterak's Gauge, goes down in just 4 auto attacks there. Has not started to pick up any armor on the side of Meteor Toast, which I honestly have some questions about when it's Tristana that is forcing and 4 and putting in all the damage here for Elventus, but he is just looking to survive whatever damage he can, and that means picking up a Spirit Visage to try and heal better here might be his best option. I don't think it's the play, but at this point, what else can you do? You're 14,000 gold behind. You're down an Elder Soul at this point, which is just picked up for free by Elventus. There's nothing really that can be done by Shadowblade Slash here.
Yeah, this is actually going to be the flash forward from NAL, looking to find this final engage of the game as Balthazar does so much damage on the Tristana, as we've been talking about already.
Yeah.
He just finds 2 kills just like that, just by breathing on Shadowblade Slash. And this is actually going to be game 2 of our game 3 series, going over to Elventus Esports Gaming tonight.
I love to see that we have such a close series here between Elventus. Home. Where do they go? Where are the health bars? They don't exist anymore. They're just getting absolutely disgusting game coming in from Elventus here. That's all I can say. Such a dominating performance here, all off the back of Balthazar and NIL putting in work here to blow up their opponents. NIL with the crazy engage angles, and Balthazar just the confidence and damage and how strong he was this game all across the board means that he just decimates his opponents. And once the gold lead started getting away from Shadowblade Slash, there wasn't really much they could do.
I had Elventus takes their 3rd game of excellency today, and I get the free points that no one else gets.
We'll see what happens after this 3rd game, but to break down that 2nd game of the series, block of 3 here, in order to set us up for our silver scrapes of the night, we got Gungeon, we got Dunsey. We're going to throw it back to the analyst desk, because they're going to go ahead and let you guys know what happened and how Elventus got so darn strong in that game.
Welcome back to the analyst desk domain. I am Gungeon, your caster, joined here by Dunsey. What a game number 2 by Elventus Amber, kind of evening up the series, taking back the reins and the momentum that was in this series. And again, they had a great game, but Balthazar, what a Tristana performance from that guy. Just absolutely decimating everybody. Even it felt like the last 10 minutes were just kind of a Balthazar highlight compilation, where he was just jumping on member after member after member, one-shotting them with the Infernal Soul, and finally the Elder Dragon to close out the series. What a game number 2, and I think we were proven wrong, because I think both you and me, Dunsey, were both on the idea that Shadowblade Slash could end up punishing the Fiddlesticks pick, but that's not what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, one more time for the people in the back. Shout it loud. Balthazar just doing so much damage by the time we got into the late game. Man, like that one explosive charge with you talked about his build, just straight AD cracking into double BF sword items, i.e. 3rd. That explosive charge did like a 1/3 of Kai'Sa's health and executed her. The Fiddlesticks pick came up pretty big. I was doubtful early on, even with a 5 to 6k gold lead for Elventus, because Fiddle wasn't doing any damage. NIL rushed the Zhonya's, but as soon as he started to build up those items, turn those team fights, man, it's so hard to play against the Fiddlesticks. And Elventus were able to kind of come together and wombo combo that big team fight. At a certain point, they were just throwing the gold sacks at Shadowblade Slash, and they were winning every single 5v5, even though we didn't agree with it. We didn't want to see the 5v5s. Gungeon, I'll let you talk about this kind of 1-4 split push we almost saw from a very, very strong lane in Chief on that set.
Yeah, and this was something that we were talking about in terms of just the matchup and how to play out the map. Again, when they're so far ahead, they can go for those forces like let's just all 5-man run at dragon fights and hope that we win. But I feel like a more consistent playstyle, and as Elventus Amber kind of, again, they have a chance to make the run up into top 6, and as they kind of put together the team, put together the shot calling, I hope that they kind of adopt the strategy where you can, as Chief, we've seen that he can execute the split push. He's a great split pusher. When he's so strong versus a counter matchup like the Volibear, let's run the 4-1. Let's have set in the side lane. Let's set him up with vision, and then let's run the 4-man mid and just let the set get advantages in the side lane. And when they over punish and over play on that end, we either take an objective like Baron, we take your mid lane inhibitor, something like that. That's just a pretty simple common strategy, but it felt like they were set up to do that. Elventus Amber had all of the tools to do that, but they were never executing on it, and they always felt like they were just rushing Chief over to the team fights and just, again, like you mentioned, beating them with their gold sacks. I love that phrase from you. I think that's the title for game number 2. They beat them with their gold sacks, because they did. They got an early game lead, and that all came from the fact that, and this was the thing that I mentioned, was that I thought Meteor Toast could really punish NIL in the early game. I thought he would make it so that his laners would have push, and then just have either Metapods go over or Void just go over, and let's just mess with NIL. But Elventus were prepared. They had Chicken Crocs getting the lane priority, and immediately, the second that Meteor tried to roam in that level 2 fight, he immediately came over, punished Meteor, and at that point, Meteor was just completely far behind in tempo, had to just farm up, and any time that a game state is even versus the Fiddlesticks, you're losing. Because in those team fights, he was able to punish him, and it felt like they just kind of went for this early game style, and that's the thing about the early game style. If you go for this early game pick like the Xin Zhao, when it works, it looks beautiful. Meteor Toast is 4-0. But when it doesn't work, he just jumps in, gets one shot, dies, and as the game scales on, you become weaker and weaker.
Yeah, he definitely hit a wall, and it was way too early for him to be effective. Oh my goodness. We took a look at this composition coming into game 2. Shadowblade Slash with the salty reverse run back. Anything that Elventus can do? Sorry, they can't do it better. We get our first 1-1 game 3 going into game 3 streamed match of mid-league heading into week 4. It's been 2-0s and 3-0s this entire time. We are guaranteed to have a 2-1 tonight. I'm excited. There's some competition going on. Elventus coming alive, fighting for their lives. We're in week 4, okay? Like this is playoff push time, so they need to get every single win that they can get. If they can salvage tonight and get a 2-1 swing, reverse sweep, that would be huge for the start of their playoff run.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it feels like it's early to call playoffs, but it's week 4. You got 5 weeks left. You're basically halfway through the split, and especially against a team that's very close to you in the standings, you want to have those 2-1 advantages, so when it gets to those tiebreaker scenarios, that you can take that heads up on them. And again, nobody wants to make it in the playoffs and play CB Rush in the first round. That's just, or play in the CB Rush, or again, we do have pretty strong top teams, but you kind of want to avoid that until the finals. So I understand why you're trying to make this push, and I like that they're putting it all together. They're trying to run a little bit of a simpler comp. That's what I like that they did in game number 2. They just simplified it. They just said wombo combo team comp with a AP jungler. Let's run it. Let's go. I do wish that they did execute the 1-4 a little bit more. I think that when you have a player like Chief, you should try to play into that playstyle a little bit more. And I also want it so that Elventus, when they get an early game lead, they need to be a lot better on establishing vision control. When Shadowblade Slash is winning on a certain side of the map, you can see that they're pretty much darkening the map so that whenever you're walking into a bush, you're always scared that there's a face check. You're always scared that there could be another man playing on you and you die in the side lane. But when Elventus has a lead, it feels like they're still not fully taking vision control, and Shadowblade Slash still knows where they are, what they're doing, and they can kind of make... You want to have the enemy team 50-50. When you're having the enemy team say, okay, let's just give that to them, and they have enough vision to make a conscious decision, that's when it's not that they don't win in those scenarios, but you're not making it as uncomfortable as you can for the enemy team. And so
Exactly.
as Elventus kind of puts together games, puts together wins, I want them to really take a focus on how to control vision around certain sides that they're playing and how to really choke out an enemy, because that's when you get to that higher tier of play, to those top echelon teams in mid league, because when they get a lead, it feels like an absolute stranglehold before you win before they lose or win the game. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're bringing these things up. We are entering draft here, so this is what they need